This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We're honored to continue and share the teachings of the founding father of science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We're honored to continue and share the teachings of the founding father of science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it...
All right, let's go ahead and open up the waiting room. Hello, everybody. My name is Becca Dukes, and welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. It is Pharmacist Fridays, which is one of my favorite days of the week. So, folks, just as a reminder, we are a resource for an amazing community. So if you were referred to this program by somebody specific, they are going to be your number one contact. If you have any questions, get with them. But most importantly, get with them anyways. Tell them thank you for sharing this program with you, and let them help you find a better journey to better health. So if you're needing a U-turn, you are absolutely in the right place. This program is being sponsored by dailywithdoc.com, where we do have more information about what you can do to empower yourself, including some past episodes of our program. And also, if you are wanting to continue to be part of our live Zoom audience, you have to email us zoom@dailywithdoc.com and watch on Monday for your email, because we are going to a new Zoom room just for the protection of everybody in our community. So again, zoom@dailywithdoc.com to get your invitation to our new private Zoom room. Also, yeah, I think that's it. When you're on the website, go ahead and sign up for our newsletter, our email list. So we're going to be putting together a lot of great information to send to you as well. All right, friends, today's episode is a must listen, especially if you've ever felt foggy, inflamed, or just off and couldn't figure out why. So we are joined today by Pharmacist Ben Fuchs, a registered pharmacist, nutritionist, and one of those most trusted voices in natural health. Ben has spent decades, folks, breaking down complex biochemistry into real-life, doable strategies. And he's famous for saying that almost every health issue starts in the gut. So today he's diving into the intestinal intruder, how gut toxins can sneak past your defenses and show up as brain fog mood issues, and even neurological symptoms. So if you've ever wondered how your digestion and your brain are secretly in constant conversation, listen up, because Ben is going to be connecting those dots in a big way. Get ready for science, clarity, and a few "why didn't anyone tell me sooner" aha moments. So hello, pharmacist Ben Fuchs. Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. Hope you are having a fantastic Friday, as we are excited to have you on with us.
Thank you. Good to see you, Becca. Can you
Thank
hear me okay?
you. I
Yeah,
missed you.
I know you haven't been around. Been traveling, I guess, huh?
Just a little bit,
All right,
the
all
whole
right. Good for you. You deserve a
family
little
duty
travel.
as an only child.
What's that?
And just that family duty stuff as an only
Okay,
living child.
only child.
So,
I can totally relate.
yeah.
You know, every once a week, Ruth Ellen calls me up. What are we going to talk about? You know, or AJ will call me. What are we going to talk about? And personally, I would rather just take questions. Be clear about that. I know that for promotional standpoint and for Google and for get people's attention, we got to talk about something. So I do that, but I like answering questions. I always feel bad that we only get to answer a couple questions. My fault, because I do talk a lot, and I talk a lot for a reason, because I want people to understand. I don't want to be the guy who just says, take this, take that. That's not, I want you to be your own health authority and to understand things. It's not really that complicated. But anyway, Ruth Ellen called me, and I just read an article that got my attention. And I thought it was really important. And I'll read the headline here, and I'll read the conclusion, and I'll talk about why I think it's important. This is from Alzheimer's and Dementia, the Journal of Alzheimer's, the Journal of the Alzheimer's Association. The microbiota, that's the gut bacteria, gut-brain axis in mild cognitive impairment and Alzheimer's disease, a review of human studies. In other words, they took a bunch of studies and they looked at all the conclusions that were drawn from all the studies, and they came up with a meta study, or a meta conclusion, which was gut dysbiosis. You all know that word because we use it all the time. Disturbances in gut bacteria. Gut dysbiosis was frequently reported in mild cognitive impairment and Alzheimer's disease, and reduced diversity in including increased, and they name a couple bacteria here, in Alzheimer's disease, and reduced diversity. Probiotic and dietary interventions showed promise in modulating cognition of microbiota. Emerging evidence links dysbiosis and cognitive decline. Look, this is so easy. And I hate having to talk about the gut and the intestine and food all the time, because I just know people are rolling their eyes. And I know people are saying that it sounds like your mother telling you to eat your vegetables. I know that, but we are so misled. We're so lied to, and we're so resistant to doing what it takes. The craziness to me as a pharmacist and a medical professional, the utter craziness of going to a doctor to deal with cognitive impairment or dementia or Alzheimer's disease when they have nothing in their disposal to address the condition. Nothing, nada. And especially considering the relationship between what you put in your body and how disease shows up neurologically or in your brain is so obvious. It just blows me away. Why would anybody, please help me understand, why would anybody who's dealing with a cognitive issue, cognitive impairment or Alzheimer's disease or any kind of dementia, ever go to a neurologist or a GP or a doctor of any kind? It's craziness. We so marginalize ourselves. We so shrink ourselves. We so make ourselves so tiny and insignificant when it comes to our own health. It blows me away that we do this all the time. And I know we talk about it every single Daily with Doc or Pharmacist Bright Bites that I do on Monday, but we have to understand that the gut is not related to the rest of the body, because eat your vegetables, David Avocado Wolf, make sure you're eating organic, and make sure you know, all of these things that are associated with food. It's because the body's a closed system, and the only entry point into that closed system is the intestine. Period. That's the only reason. It's strictly biology. And anytime a medical professional marginalizes this, they're demonstrating that they don't understand how the body works. We have to get through our heads. We're being lied to. It's not The healthcare business is not there for us. We spend $4.3 to $4.6 trillion in healthcare every year in this country. And what do we get for it? Nothing. Please, people, understand. And I know I'm preaching to the choir to a certain extent. The medical model is not equipped to deal with degenerative disease, period. I don't know how much clearer I can be. This is lifestyle, diet, nutrition, exercise, breathing, mental and emotional strategies, the triangle of disease, all things we can do ourselves. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Sorry, Becca.
So you're saying that $600 pharmaceutical per month that does get covered by insurance with a $45 copay is not going to fix cognitive repair?
There's nothing. No doctor will ever tell you that there's medication that will fix cognitive impairment. It's common knowledge in the medical community that there's nothing that can be done for cognitive impairment. Now, when I was in pharmacy school many, many years ago, they used to say it was a cholinergic issue. That is, the neurotransmitter acetylcholine was involved, or defects in acetylcholine processing in the brain was involved in Alzheimer's disease. But then in the 1980s, they changed. They decided it was no longer the problem was no longer acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter acetylcholine, but it was amyloid plaques. And that's what you hear about now all the time. So all started somewhere in around the 1980s, 40 years ago or so. But it was amyloid plaques. What are amyloid plaques? How do amyloid plaques form? All of a sudden they just rain in from the sky into your brain? How do they form? Amyloid plaques are Band-Aids. Amyloid is a repair mechanism. And by the way, you can have amyloid in your kidneys, and you can have amyloid in various soft tissues in the body. It's not just in the brain. Amyloid is a repair mechanism. So the question is what is it repairing? It's repairing damage. Where does the damage come from? Well, it doesn't just rain in from the sky. It comes in from the blood. Where do things get into the blood? It's just logic. It's just common sense. And I've noticed this because I had a personal experience with it when I watched my dad who had Alzheimer's disease, and I watched him get worse when he ate certain things and get better when he didn't. And I watched him get better when I gave him nutritional supplements. I've talked beyond Tangy Tangerine specifically. This is so easy. And I don't know if anybody has experience with somebody who has AD or Alzheimer's disease. It's unbelievably tragic. And to have something that's this tragic that could be corrected this easily and not corrected by the standard medical protocols, it just blows me away how we lose our power. We allow our power to be taken away from us. So please understand this triangle of disease that I talk about, forget the triangle, just the 2 points on the triangle of disease gives us so much power. And at the end of the day, we're not here to talk about nutrition. We're not here to talk about the Healthy Start Pack. We're not here to talk about the digestive system. We're here to talk about power over your body, to control your the way your body shows up for better or worse, to modify degeneration, to support anabolism and building and growth and repair. And we can all do it. Every one of us can do it. But you have to start off with the entry point into the bloodstream, because all roads lead to the blood. And that means injection, and that means leaky gut. And given the epidemic nature of digestive health issues, up to 80% of Americans deal with digestive health issues, it should be obvious. Given the corruption of the food supply that has occurred over the last 100 years, it should be obvious. Given the fact that Americans eat twice to 3 times as many calories that they need, it should be obvious. Given the fact that our health is the most important thing to us, more important than money, more important than love and relationships, more important than anything, we should be doing every single thing we can do to control what is getting into our bloodstream through food, and unfortunately these days through injection as well. It's not complicated. In fact, Jill and I, Goddess Jill, who you guys, who's been on the program before, have finished a book. You didn't know her first name was Goddess, did you? Her first name is
No, but I can see it.
Goddess Jill. She's truly a goddess. Yes, are completing a book, and the whole point is this is easier than we are told. We call it easier than you think because unfortunately we all think it's complicated. It's not complicated. It's not complicated. It's not complicated. It's not complicated. And you don't need me. You can all do this yourself. Work on the gut, focus on blood sugar, calm the body down, make sure you get some nutritional supplementation, which is what we specialize in here, obviously. And anybody can reverse chronic degenerative disease. Reverse. The body can turn on a dime, but we got to turn on a dime first. And that's my spiel on Alzheimer's disease. Oh, by the way, another article here that I ran into, is lithium orotate the key to preventing Alzheimer's disease? Now, lithium orotate is not the key to preventing Alzheimer's disease. We just talked about, as long as you have toxicity in the blood, you're going to have issues. But lithium orotate is something that Doc's been talking about for decades, how important lithium is for the brain. Lithium has been used to treat bipolar disorder, but lithium, as it turns out now, also plays a role, potentially anyway, in helping prevent dementia. But as long as you have toxicity in the bloodstream, you are going to have a health challenge. Now, the body can handle a little bit of toxicity, but certainly not the kind of chronic toxicity that most of us are dealing with. Dirty blood, dirty blood, dirty blood.
All right. So folks, I don't know about you, but I know several people that I'm going to specifically share this video with just for that first 15 minutes of the show.
And anybody who wants an article, who wants this copy of this article, should send, I'll send it to you, Becca, and they can reach out to you.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good. And folks, you can request a copy of that article by emailing questions@dailywithdoc.com. Again, questions@dailywithdoc.com. Now, Pharmacist Ben, we do have questions coming in, but I want to have that first question.
Okay.
You were mentioning in the beginning Alzheimer's, and then you mentioned dementia.
Yes. What is the difference between Alzheimer's and dementia? Is that what the question? Is that what the question is?
Well, what's the difference, and do we treat them differently?
No, you don't treat them differently. Alzheimer's disease is so named for Dr. Alzheimer. There was actually a Dr. Alzheimer who discovered that there was a form of dementia that occurs early onset. So dementia is something that happens to people as they get older. That's typically what happens. But Alzheimer's dementia is a form of dementia, technically speaking, because the terms are completely overlapping now and confusing. But technically speaking, dementia is a generalized umbrella term for the kind of mental decline, memory decline, reasoning decline that happens as we get older. It's a general term. It's a generic term. Alzheimer's is a specific disease that is involved with a lot of dementia cases that tends to occur in younger patients that's not necessarily associated with aging. However, these days the terms have been so collapsed that when people say Alzheimer's, they mean dementia. When people say dementia, they mean Alzheimer's. So it's really the distinction now is not as relevant as it was. But initially, it was noticed that there were certain people who would start to suffer from dementia, which occurred in older folks when they were in their 40s or 50s or 60s, much younger than they should have been when they started to have to deal with this issue of dementia. But today, the terms have been so lumped together that it's almost irrelevant. The fact is that if you're dealing with a cognitive health issue, you're dealing with some kind of inflammatory degenerative condition in your brain. And interestingly, there's a condition called Parkinson's dementia, which is associated with Parkinson's disease. And it's a specific kind of dementia. And they do have different kinds of dementias. There's Lewy body dementia and Alzheimer's dementia and Parkinson's dementia. There's probably a few other types of dementia, but it doesn't really matter. They're all in, and this is really important, not just for the brain, but for all health challenges. We love naming things. By the way, naming things is actually a science. It's called nosology, Nosology. Nosology is the science of naming things. And somewhere around the 15th century or so, it was a big advance to name things, because before then, they used to just think everything was caused by evil clouds or little elves that shot arrows in you, or the number 9. Believe it or not, they thought the number 9 caused diseases in medieval Germany. So to actually name and classify diseases represented a great advance. Today, it's irrelevant. Your diagnosis doesn't matter. Your diagnosis doesn't matter. I have people calling me up all the time, and they want to give me the whole Latin spiel about their diagnosis and what they have and what the test showed. It doesn't matter if you're interested in getting better. It matters to your specialist because that's how he gets paid. It matters to your insurance company because that's how you get categorized. It matters to the infrastructure of health because that allows them to proportion everybody into the right category. But from a reversal standpoint, don't be deluded. Don't be tricked. Don't be fooled by this idea that there's all of these different ways the body can break down. Disease, dis-ease is generic. So whether you have, and that's why you may ask me about arthritis, and the next person may ask me about acne, and the next person may ask me about atherosclerosis, and I'm going to say the same thing. I'm going to say the exact same thing, and you don't need to have a special kit for arthritis and a special kit for Alzheimer's and a special kit for this and a special kit for that. It's all the same. And isn't that great? Isn't that great news that it's so simple that anybody can do this? You focus on food. You do the food diary. You get yourself on criticalhealthnews.com, get your free food diary. Start writing everything down. Reduce your intake of calories. Notice problem foods, eliminate those problem foods. Use the wonderful digestive support supplements that that Longevity has, from the Daily Digest to the I-26 to the Ultimate Microbiome. We've got a digestive health specialist like Dr. Joanne Conaway on staff that can help you work with the digestive system. That alone will add years to your life. Just eating less calories. The less you eat, the longer you live. Eating's for children. Once you reach a certain age, you don't need to eat anywhere near as many calories. If you need 1,100 or 1,200 calories a day, most of us are getting 3,000 to 4,000 calories a day. That all represents work. And if the calories that we're ingesting don't have nutrients in them, they represent a drain in nutrition. In other words, it costs you nutrients to process your food. Under healthy circumstances, the way our bodies grew up, when you ate food, you got nutriated. How many of you notice you need a nap after you eat lunch? What's that about? You just put nutrition in your body and now you need to go to sleep. What is that telling you? Clearly, there's something wrong. And then the second point, if you will, the blood sugar system, the metabolic system, and in a way they're related in the sense that energy comes into the body through the digestive system and it goes into cells through the metabolic system. It's all about energy. That's really what we're talking about here at the end of the day. It's all about energy. And even the third point in the triangle disease, which we haven't really talked about, that's about how energy is distributed, whether it's distributed through the emergency nervous system or through the day-to-day regular nervous system. It's all about energy. So energy comes into the body through the digestive tract, it goes into the cells through the metabolic system, and then it gets distributed to the body through the emergency or day-to-day energy distribution process, which is the adrenal thyroid link. It's all about energy. The raison d'etre of the body is to get energy. So it makes perfect sense when you think about it that the major breakdown points would be the points where we get energy. Food through the digestive system, and then into cells through the metabolic system. And that's it. And to me, that is the best news anybody who's got a health challenge can ever hear. Because that's all you got to do, is you got to focus on what you're eating, and you got to focus on how the energy from what you're eating is distributed to the cells. And it all amounts to change the way you eat less food, use nutritional supplements in addition to the ancillary strategies that are all lifestyle based. Health is easier than we're told. It's easier than we think.
Absolutely. Now, Christopher has a great question. How do parasites play a role in all of this?
You know, I got a bunch of questions on parasites the other day. I don't even like talking about parasites because we're talking about metabolism. You know, the medical model wants us to fix the scratches on the car. The problem is in the engine. It's like you can paint your walls, but if you have an electrical problem in the house, you're going to have issues in your domicile. The parasites they're on the surface. They're extraneous. Are parasites a problem? Potentially. But not as much as you're hearing. Most people don't have hookworm. Most people don't have tapeworm. Most people don't have giardia. Most people don't have malaria. You hear alternative people saying, oh, you've got parasites, this and that. Forget it. What are you going to do? Go in there and pull out the parasites? The drugs that kill parasites are among the most toxic and deadly drugs you could take, the azole type of drugs. So are parasites an issue? Guess what? You got way bigger fish to fry. If your health is completely pristine, you're eating perfectly, and everything is perfect in your body, and you got parasites, okay, fine. But who's like that? Whose bloodstream is so pure and digestive health is so perfect and food intake is so clean that they have time to worry about parasites? If you're eating, and this is kind of how we think, because we like the sexy stuff, the titillating stuff, the stuff that sounds really cool to work with. It's the blocking and the tackling that count. It's the fundamentals that count. Are parasites a problem? Yeah, if you're walking barefoot down south and there's a bunch of, in a poverty-stricken area and you get hookworms through your feet, which can happen, or you're eating the wrong food, you get tapeworm, obviously that's an issue. But the alternative kind of stuff you hear about parasites are part of the natural microbiome. Did you know that? Parasites are part of everybody's system. So what's a parasite and what's not what's a pathological parasite and what's not a pathological parasite? I don't know, but most people don't have malaria. Most people don't have giardia. Most people don't have hookworm or tapeworm. Those are the kinds of really severe parasitic infections, which, by the way, are not uncommon, that you have to concern yourself with. Focus on what I call locus of control. Locus of control is where you have control over how your body shows up. And where you have control over your body shows up mostly involves what we eat. It also involves the lifestyle things. And I don't want to marginalize the spiritual, mental, and emotional aspects, activating the vagus nerve and the parasympathetic nervous system and overriding the sympathetic nervous system, or at least balancing out the sympathetic activity is very, very important, as is the blood sugar system, as are adrenal hormones, and as are the thyroid. But locus of control, if you're talking about parasites, locus of control, this philosophy or concept of locus of control tells us that the most important point we have control over how our body shows up is in what we're eating or in what we're not eating. That's how I feel about parasites.
Okay. Next question is coming from Joan. Now, Longevity has an amazing product called Killer Biotic, and it helps to, it's said to be a potent immune supporting compound to help bolster your health all year around. It includes colostrum, propolis, adaptogens, botanicals in a convenient capsule. Now, Joan's allergic to dairy. It has colostrum in it.
Okay.
She's wanting to know what would be another product that she can use to help kill the bad stuff in the gut.
Well, there's lots of stuff, but this is your this is your superstar. There's also an ingredient in colostrum called lactoferrin. LACTO, lactoferrin. And lactoferrin is one of nature's most important antibiotics. In fact, lactoferrin was on the COVID protocol. And lactoferrin is an active ingredient in colostrum, so you could use that if you have problems with dairy. But I always go with I-26 if she wants to kill excess. She's talking about SIBO, I imagine, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. If you're looking at killing, is that what she's talking about? Is that what she meant?
Let me see. So Joan, I know you're here with us. Let me go ahead and ask you to unmute, or if one of my co-hosts could help me out with that. And let's see if we can get an answer. So Joan, are you able to unmute? Oh, you know what? She's watching. There we go. Joan. Hello? I cannot hear her, so her microphone may not have gotten connected. But she is
okay,
unmuted.
so there are lots of things. Let's assume that she's talking about SIBO. Okay, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. The microbiome, the bacteria in the intestine, mostly live in the large intestine. And there's good reason for that. You have food in the small intestine. You don't have food in the large intestine. Food's all in the small intestine. If you have bacteria in the small intestine, they're going to proliferate because they're going to eat the food. So nature set up, when we're healthy, set up a system where the intestine, the small intestine, will mostly not have bacteria. There's some anyway, but mostly the bacteria in the large intestine. However, over the course of time, we eat the wrong foods, and I'll tell you some of these foods here in a moment. We disturb the diversity or the types of bacteria in the body through chlorine, chlorinated water, fluoride, antibiotics, etc. Many people end up with this condition called SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. SIBO will wreak havoc on the body, and in my opinion, that's the most important initiating factor for leaky gut, which is really how.
Why do you say wreak havoc on the body? W-R-E-A-K.
W-R-E-A-K.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Okay, no worries. So it will wreak havoc on the biochemistry, on the body, on our health. So the most important cause, or one of maybe the most important cause, is this bacterial overgrowth, because bacteria produce things, gases, secretions, immune factors, etc. And these can lead to inflammation in the intestinal lining, and this is what leaky gut is. Do we all understand what leaky gut is? Because I use that term a lot. I mean, do we need to go? The intestine.
Why don't you go ahead and do?
Yeah, the intestine's a tube, obviously, and on the other side of the tube is the blood. And the way the system is supposed to work is, when you eat food, it gets all broken down into its individual nutritional components. Most of what we eat gets excreted. Well over 90% of what we eat gets eliminated. Probably even 95 to 99% gets eliminated, and then trace amounts get broken down into their individual components, and we call those nutrients, some of which are the mighty 90 essential nutrients: vitamins, the minerals, the amino acids, the fatty acids. There's also phytonutrients, which is glucose, and there's other peptides, and there's other small, tiny molecules. The body can't have a system where all that stuff just gets flooded into the blood. It has to have a way of regulating what enters into the bloodstream from the intestine. That's a very important strategy, because the blood is sacred. The blood has to be perfectly balanced. And again, I know we said it before, but I'll say it again, the blood's an organ, and it's a liquid organ. It's a liquid tissue, and the blood has to be kept perfectly within tight windows of specifications. Just the right amount of heat, just the right amount of fluidity, just the right amount, just the right acid level, just the right amount of solid material versus liquid material. Everything is kept tightly regulated. So particles that get into the bloodstream through the intestine are tightly regulated, one at a time. It's not literally one at a time, but you could think about it like one at a time. And how does this all happen? It happens in this really tightly controlled way, where you have cells that will take in a nutrient from the inside and flip it over and bring it onto the outside. Other nutrients will diffuse in gradually. There's all of these regulatory mechanisms that assure that just the nutrients are going to get into the blood. Just what's necessary is going to get into the blood. And I've used the analogy before of immigration. When you go into a country, they don't let everybody just go into the country. You got to go through immigration. You got to go through customs. They ask you questions, and then one at a time, they let you into the country. And it's the same thing in the body. However, as this intestine becomes inflamed, because we're eating the wrong food, especially fried fats, especially oxidized seed oils, estrogen can also be a problem, believe it or not. Female hormone estrogen, particularly what they call, we'll just say modified estrogen. Technically, they call it catechol estrogen, but potentized estrogen. Also, gluten, which everybody knows about, but other molecules that are found in plants. All of these conspire to inflame the intestine. You throw in the impact of nutritional deficiencies, which are important for the health of the intestine. Things like amino acids are important for the health of the intestine. The B vitamins are important for the health of the intestine. So you throw nutritional deficiencies into the mix. Then you throw in the bacteria that are secreting gases into the mix. And all of a sudden, you've got this inflamed intestine. And when the intestine inflames, all of the cells start to spread apart. So the cells are all tight, and they actually call them tight junctions. That's the names of all the connecting points. When things start to inflame, openings appear. They call porosity. And I call it leaky gut, but it's really known as intestinal permeability syndrome. Talk about that here in a second. Intestinal permeability means the intestine becomes permeable and things start to get into the bloodstream that shouldn't be in the bloodstream. Literal pieces of bacteria can get into the bloodstream. What do you think that does to the blood? Secretions from bacteria can get into the bloodstream. What do you think that's going to do to the blood? Immune cells and immune secretions like histamine can get into the bloodstream. What do you think that's going to do? Food particles, literal food particles can get into the bloodstream. What is that going to do? Of course, you're going to run into a serious health challenge. And the last word in the diagnosis is syndrome. It tells you right there. What is a syndrome? A syndrome is a bunch of symptoms that happen from a single cause. So when you have intestinal permeability syndrome, that means you got a bunch of problems associated with a single cause. What are the bunch of problems going to be? They're going to be autoimmunity, and they're going to be cardiovascular issues. They're going to be cognitive issues. They're going to be skin issues. They're going to be immune problems. They're going to be arthritis. They're going to be degeneration. All of it, everything. It's right in the name. Intestinal permeability syndrome, which is a technical term, or actually, it's a technical term, intestinal permeability syndrome. That's a triangle of disease right there. It's telling you right in the name. It's a syndrome that's caused by things getting into the blood. The good news is you can stop the madness. You can immediately stop this from occurring. In fact, you can test this yourself. And I always encourage people to test things. Remember Ronald Reagan? Trust, yet verify. You guys remember that? I wasn't a big Ronald Reagan fan, but that was brilliant. Trust, yet verify. So verify this. I don't want anybody just believing me. Fast for a day. Most people will notice that when they fast, their inflammatory symptoms subside. Particularly if you take a couple days off, because there's usually some residual that's left in the intestine that has to get cleared out. But if you fast for 1 or 2 days, most people will notice that their symptoms subside. It's not that complicated to check out for yourself. And we haven't even gotten into the metabolic issues, which is the whole blood sugar problem, which an insulin problem, which is what Becca wrote a book on. Just the first step. So that's how this whole thing proceeds. What do? I-26 is your best friend. Eliminate problem foods. Building the intestinal lining with collagen peptides, with fucoidin, with TMR shake. Working on the milieu, the intestinal milieu is also important, using fiber and probiotics. You got to be a little bit careful if you have SIBO, because SIBO will eat the excess bacteria, will eat the fiber, and putting probiotics into a system that already has too many bacteria can throw things off. So you got to be a little bit careful there. The next point is also important and very often underappreciated, and that is, if you have intestinal permeability issues, which means you have an inflamed intestine, you also are going to be functionally malnourished because you're not going to be absorbing your mighty 90 essential nutrients. So now you have an issue of toxicity in a system that is malnourished. You're like a heavyweight fighter in the ring with one arm tied behind your back because you're trying to repair the system, but you're not getting your B vitamins because you're not absorbing them because the intestine's inflamed. You're not getting your electrolytes because you're not absorbing them because your intestine's inflamed. You're not getting your fatty vitamins because your intestine's inflamed. And we haven't even talked about the lymph, which is connected to the intestine, and all the fatty material goes into the lymph. And we haven't even talked about lymphatic congestion, which occurs as these toxins leak into the lymphatic system through the intestine. And that's all the bad news. The good news is change the way you eat, reduce your calories, get on a digestive support program, and make sure you're getting your mighty 90. And almost every single symptom will begin to resolve itself. It may take a while to completely resolve, but for most people, you can have relief, the beginnings of relief, within 24 to 48 hours. It doesn't take a long time. Within 24 to 48 hours, most symptoms will begin to subside. It may take you a matter of months before the system completely restores itself back to balance, but you can begin the healing and repair process immediately.
So, Pharmacist Ben, you make it sound so easy.
It is easy.
Well,
Who was it that
let's
were you talking about? I heard somebody talking about dry hair. Was that you on this call, or was that another call I did? That might have been another
that
call.
wasn't
Okay, that was another
me.
call. Okay, go ahead.
No, I haven't had to experience dry hair symptoms in
And you know what? The biggest
almost 10
problem.
years now.
Okay, the biggest problem that we have here is not the techniques and not the strategies. It's the belief and the willingness. If you believe everything that I'm saying and you're willing to do it, you can begin this process immediately. You can start to feel better immediately. But if you don't believe and you're not willing, it doesn't matter. So first and foremost, people, believe. Believe it's possible. I don't want you to have blind faith, because I'm giving you the logic here. But once you have the logic, believe that it's possible. And then be willing to do what it takes. If you have the belief, you believe it's possible, and you're willing to do what it takes, I am guaranteeing you 100% that whatever your chronic degenerative disease is, whatever it is, it can begin to reverse itself within 24 to 48 hours. You got to believe and you got to be willing. That's what you do. And then the body will do the rest as long as you participate.
Well, and I think understanding how the body really works and doesn't work when you got the nutrition being held back or not absorbed or not even there, it makes us understand how important taking the nutrition is to help us get where we want to be. And that's one thing I just absolutely love about you, Pharmacist Ben, is you make it simple to understand. And then we offer some solutions to help people get where they want to be.
I hope it is simple to understand, because it's really not that complicated. They want us to, obfuscation has always been the tool of tyrants, making things too confusing. That's why you have, a legal system that nobody understands. Probably everything we're doing on this call today is illegal on some level, because the legal system has so much minutia in it that nobody understands. The tax code, same thing. Whenever power structures want to impose their hegemony or tyranny on little people, on regular people like us, they use jargon, they use Latin, they use big words, so you can't understand it. And there's many people, probably not on this call, but many people out there that feel like it's too complex. I have to go to a doctor to help me understand it. There's a lot of people who believe that. We're here to say that's not true. When I asked Doc Wallach why he called the company American Longevity, first thing he said to me was, because of America. America is, you don't need a king. No kings. We could do it ourselves. You don't need to have a priest or a doctor or some kind of authority tell you what to do about your body. It's your body, and nobody is anywhere near the kind of intimacy into me you see with their bodies that you have. There's no medical professional that can do that for you. We have that, and we have to take our power back and not buy the BS. Diagnosis doesn't matter. Remember, it's all generic. Digestion, blood sugar, adrenal thyroid, and then SMEP, spiritual, mental, emotional. We can all do it. And we're here to help. For people who are new on this call, we're all here. We at YGY are here to help you understand.
Absolutely. So folks, get back with the person that shared this program with you. If there is no one to thank, we do have a call team at 855-949-3377. Again, 855-949-3377. Let's get to some questions. But before we do, you had mentioned fucoidin and collagen.
Yes.
Ben, we got ZRadical Plus, which has fucoidin and collagen.
There you go. ZRadical Plus. There you go.
And one more thing to make it easy to help your gut.
Yeah,
no
fucoidin
longer
and
be safe.
collagen should be part of our digestive protocol. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, let's go over to Mary as we have questions coming in. Mary, what questions are you bringing to the table today?
Yes, thank you. Speaking of new to the program, we have a new client that started on Beyond Tangy Tangerine tablets, extra minerals, and EFAs, and wants to know wants to ask the question about the fact that her urine color has changed and it's darker.
It's
Can you give
yellow.
some perspective to that,
Yes.
please?
Riboflavin, vitamin B2 is yellow, and it will change the color of your urine. So that's very normal, and that's not a big deal. You're excreting some riboflavin, it's changing the color of your urine. It's normal, it's not a problem. It's not a big deal.
Does it have anything to do with the liver or anything like that?
No, nothing like that. Nothing like
Okay, perfect. Next quick question. Where do you get lithium from? Is it already in our nutrients that we're
It's an
getting?
all. It's a plant-derived mineral. It's in all the minerals. If you want higher concentrations of it, it's readily available. I don't know that we have any products with. Becca, you can help me out on this. I don't know that we have any products with lithium, high doses of lithium, but lithium is readily available. You can get it anywhere.
Okay, Nancy, you got that. Also, Nancy mentions that she's heard people get tired after a meal because the blood leaves the head and goes to the stomach to digest it. Is that correct?
That is partially true, but for the most part, it's the kind of foods that we're eating, particularly high sugar foods. And by sugar, I'm not talking about straight sugar necessarily, although that too, of course. But pasta, bread, quick carbohydrates that are quickly dissolved will change insulin and blood sugar levels. Obviously, change blood sugar levels and then insulin. Insulin is a blood sugar hormone. It does a lot of things, but one of its main roles is to lower blood sugar. Sugar is very, very, very powerful stuff. There's a reason much of the body runs on sugar. There's a reason sugar gets fed into cells and gets turned into energy, chemical energy, because sugar is really powerful. So the body has to have a way of controlling the sugar in the blood. The way the body controls the sugar in the blood is through the hormone insulin. Insulin is secreted into the bloodstream when sugar levels go up, and insulin's job is to pull sugar out of the blood and then store that sugar. What do you think happens when sugar comes out of the blood? You get tired.
Yeah, very tired.
Right? And many of us, because we've been eating so much sugar, are dealing with a very sensitized insulin system. Our insulin is very, 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 very powerful. When insulin becomes powerful, two things happen. Number one, the sugar gets pulled out of the blood quickly, and this happens when you eat a lot of sugar. But number two, and most importantly, when insulin becomes very, very powerful, cells stop listening to insulin. And this is called insulin resistance. Exactly. So potentized insulin initially is important for getting rid of the sugar, and that's what makes you tired. But secondarily, it causes a problem with cells not listening to insulin. This keeps the blood sugar, this can keep the blood sugar high. Now, the body usually will compensate for that by secreting more insulin, and eventually cells stop listening to that, and you end up with this vicious downward spiral. So partially what you just said is true, how blood goes to the digestive tract. It's rerouted to the digestive tract. That's true, and that's one reason why you want to eat less food, why you want to eat less calories, so that the body doesn't have to do so much work, so much digestive work. And really, if you want to boil it down, it comes down to, do I want to spend my precious nutritional and circulatory resources on digesting my food, or do I want to spend it on having a great life, on longevity, on healing, on growth, on repair, on energy, on creativity, on fertility, on having fun? Or do I want to digest my food? And that really is, if you want to boil it down, that's what it comes to. So yes, partially it does have to do with a rerouting of the blood through the digestive system, but a lot of it is metabolic.
Perfect. Thank you for that. And one last question from Graziano.
And by the way, let me say something real quick.
Okay.
Has anybody ever noticed that they need a nap after they eat a cucumber?
No.
Has anybody ever ate lettuce and go, I just had a bunch of lettuce, I'm so tired? No, nobody ever said that, because lettuce doesn't change the metabolic system as much as obviously, complex food like a hamburger or whatever, pizza or whatever kind of food we tend to eat.
Perfect. More cucumbers tomorrow.
More cucumbers, yes.
Graziano asks, does longevity have any supplements that directly support someone who is a marathon runner?
Most of what we talk about is for regular people. Athletes, marathon runners, people who are high performance, they have special needs. And so you're not necessarily going to get everything you need from longevity for people who have special needs like that. But that being said, TMR shake is probably the best protein shake you'll ever use. Marathon runners marathon runners are doing some serious damage to their bodies, and they're going to need to repair. And so, yes, TMR shake is great for that. FucoidZ is great for repair. That's a very important point. We haven't talked about this, and we should probably. The body is kind of like a spongy material. And within that spongy material, aside from the bones and such, the tissues themselves are spongy material with cells embedded in the spongy material. So the body is cells embedded in spongy material. That spongy material is the key to everything. It's the key to growth and repair. It's the key to understanding the degenerative disease process. It's the key to understanding the health of the cells. We say all disease is cell disease, but the cells themselves are fed and oxygenated and detoxified and electrified through the spongy material. The technical term for the spongy material is the matrix, which means, interestingly, womb, because it functions like a womb, and you can kind of think of the cells as the babies that are embedded in the womb. FucoidZ is so multifunctional and so valuable for a lot of reasons, but one of the most important reasons is it helps you build that spongy material, that matrix. The polysaccharides that make up that matrix, or Fucoidin contains polysaccharides that make up that matrix, we'll say. And by the way, the polysaccharides, like Fucoidin, that make up the matrix structure and organize what is the most important part of the body, most important component of the body, we'll say. What is the most important component of the body that gets structured and organized by Fucoidin and the matrix?
Connective tissue.
Not quite. Water.
Water. Yeah.
As we age, our liquid portion becomes decoherent. Coherence is like a laser. Decoherence is like or incoherence, we'll say. Decoherence is the process of breaking down, but incoherence, non-coherence, and coherence can be thought of like a laser and a light bulb. You can do surgery with a laser. You can read a CD with a laser. You can kill somebody with a laser. An incandescent light bulb is not going to do anything except give you a little bit of light. You can't do any work with an incandescent light bulb. Why? Because the light is incoherent. It's scattered. It's dispersed. A laser, everything is coherent. Focus on. It's directed in one direction. It's pointed in one direction. And I've given this example before. An incoherent state or an incoherent light bulb is like the music before an orchestra. All that noise before an orchestra. Yeah. A laser and coherence is like the orchestra playing perfectly. The connective tissue, the matrix, organizes or coherentizes, whatever the word is, makes more coherent the liquid portion of the body. When the liquid portion of the body is more coherent, it transmits information. It transmits electricity. It transmits chemicals much more effectively. As we age and the connective tissue deteriorates, everything blobifies. And that's the thing that we notice about older people and that we hate when we get old. We get more round and blobby and things hang and sink. And all that is a measurement of the connective tissue breaking down, the matrix breaking down, and the liquid portion sinking so that we turn into a blob as opposed to having straight angles as we did when we were younger. So that's the importance of Fucoidin. It helps there's a lot of reasons why it's important, but one of the main reasons is it helps restore coherence to the liquid portion of the body.
Got it. Thank you. Back to Becca.
Thank you, Mary. And now we're going to go over to Phyllis with a question, and then we have Mike after that.
Pharmacist Ben, we have
yes.
we have a YouTube question. and it's Mr. T7. His brother has disc trouble in the lower back. He's 76, slim, otherwise healthy. The doctor gave him 2,000 units of vitamin D. And Mr. T7 sent his brother info on K2 and magnesium.
Those are all important, but don't be careful of allopathic nutrition. Right? Allopathic medicine. We all heard the term allopathy usually is used in connection with medicine. Allo means against in Latin. Pathy means disease. And so medicine is typically allopathic. Call it allopathy, really. And that means against disease. So you have a disease, you take this. I call it this for that. And you want to be careful of this for that. I have this problem, I take that. You want to look at the body as a system, a global degeneration. Yeah, when he says he has a disc problem, what he really means, probably, I'm assuming, is that the discs are poking through. The vertebrae, the discs in the body, have to be embedded, they have to be tight. As we age, they poke through. And when they poke through, they slip. They call them a slip disc, and it can be very painful. This is associated with a breakdown in the matrix. When the matrix breaks down, things poke through. Ruptures, hernias, slip discs. So basically what he's talking about is one of the discs. If you've ever seen a picture of the spine, you see these little discs that make up the spine. That thing slips through the deteriorating matrix. So the doctor's giving him vitamin D. Vitamin D is anti-inflammatory. Vitamin D will also improve calcium absorption. All of these are in an attempt to try to repair the matrix. But if the guy's got inflammation coming in from a leaky gut, you're wasting your time. It's like trying to bail water out of a leaky boat. Yeah, you may bail a little bit of water, but you're not going to go anywhere because you got a big old leak. If he's got metabolic issues, that is metabolic syndrome issues, he's going to have a liver problem. He's going to have more inflammation. You can give all the vitamin D he wants. It's not going to make a difference. And that's the problem with this allopathic view of medicine. And we want to be careful about using allopathic nutrition, which is our version of against disease. We want to build the entire system. The beauty of this approach of building the entire system versus allopathically trying to target specific symptoms is when you use this approach, not only do you improve the matrix for this, so that the disc will repair, and not only do you reduce inflammation so the pain is reduced, but you add years to your life. You reduce your risk of heart disease. You improve your skin. You reduce your the likelihood of autoimmunity or cancer or brain or dementias or cognitive decline. And that's the beauty of this approach we're taking. You deal with the entire body and you add years to your life versus allopathically targeting the discs. You see, the approach has to be global and systemic because the body doesn't break down in little parts. Unless you have a mechanical injury, yeah, you could break your leg or something like that. But for the most part, degenerative conditions are global. So the approach to repairing the problem or reversing the problem has to be global as well.
Right. In other words, steering away from that fractionated nutrition.
Yes,
this
for that. I call it this for that. Oh, I got this problem, I take that. And we in the business are somewhat guilty. You know, what do I take? Oh, take this. You have this problem, you take this vitamin. It doesn't work that way. And that's good because what it means is you can, as you treat one cell, you'll treat the entire body. Just take care of one cell. Just give one cell what it needs. Give it all the raw materials it needs, the oxygen it needs, keep it clean. There's only a few things that go wrong with a cell. Starvation, suffocation, and toxification, which results in inflammation, leading to more starvation and suffocation and toxification. There's some grist for your mill there, AJ, for the next website. I saw the gears turning there.
I know we have just a minute, so I'll drop off and let Michael come on.
Yes, sir. All right, I got a note here. I got this great note. I got this great note. Okay, you got to see this, you guys. Remember that, AJ? We did a bright, what do we call Pharmacist Bite? Pharmacist Ben Bites. I don't know, whatever you're calling it. And we showed that lady with the skin. I gave her exactly what I'm telling you. It's nothing different. She just sent me a picture. You wouldn't believe it.
That fast?
Listen what she says to me.
It was 2 weeks ago.
Unbelievable. I'm just looking at a picture right now. She just sent it to me. Says she changed her diet and stopped her antibiotics. Look, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. I told her she has to do that before she comes and sees me. I made her do a food diary. She cleaned up so fast. Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. I'll send you this picture. I get these all the time, you guys. It's not magic. It's not a miracle. We're magic. We're the miracle. The body can turn on a dime if we turn on a dime. Did you see the picture, Rebecca, a couple weeks ago that we showed? The horrible
I
skin.
saw it. Yeah, I saw
Well, she's
that
sending me a
picture.
picture right now. I wish I could send it to you. She said, it's unbelievable. In less than 2 weeks. Unbelievable. You think this woman's happy? You should,
Oh yeah.
right? This is what's possible, you guys. This is what's possible for all of us. The fact that this shows up on the skin is just that it's obvious. We can all do it. Heart disease, atherosclerosis, autoimmune problems, cognitive decline, whatever. That's what's possible. We're leaving health on the table. We're leaving beauty on the table. We're leaving joie de vivre on the table. Please take it back. Take back your power. That's really what this is all about. Empowerment. And I hope everybody's feeling this.
I hope so too.
Okay,
And you
let's
said that
say
you have a hard stop. You have to
one
go.
more. We'll do one more. I do have to go, but let's do one more.
Okay, so I do have one. This is Kiana, and Pharmacist Ben. I know.
You can answer
that-
it.
Well, okay. So she's 45 years old. She's a mirror image, identical twin. She weighs 120 pounds. The doctor says that she has fibroids, endometriosis, adrenomyosis. I've had 3 fibroid surgeries where over 20 fibroids were removed each time. Currently trying to get pregnant. I don't have any children yet. And
That's an
family.
awesome question. I just can't answer it in the short amount of time we have. I'd love to answer that question on Monday because it's an awesome question. It's a really, really important question. But just to give you some relief right away, because you can get relief right away. First of all, if you go to a doctor, not only aren't you going to help, you're going to make it worse. That's first of all. Doctors are not for fibroids, they're for broken legs. Please understand that. I have a lot of friends who are physicians. I'm not knocking doctors. They're good people. But they're there to fix your broken leg and not your fibroid. Fibroids are metabolic. They're biochemistry. And if that distinction is hard to make, just think of a trauma that happens quickly versus a biochemical issue that occurs over the course of time. Traumas that occur quickly, perfect. That's what doctors are for. That's what they excel in. And boy, do they excel in it. They're brilliant at it. But chemistry issues, I say metabolic, but that's complicated. So we'll say chemistry issues that occur gradually, they can't help you. But we can do it. We can do it ourselves. So for fibroids, repeat all the things you said. Endometriosis, fibroids.
Endometriosis.
Did you say fibromyalgia?
Not fibromyalgia. That wasn't mentioned,
Okay.
but she did mention adrenomyosis.
Okay,
Adrenomyosis.
all of these are steroid hormone issues. All of these involve the steroid hormones are largely reproductive hormones. There's also cortisol, which is a steroid hormone, and there's blood pressure hormones, et cetera. But for the most part, when we talk about steroid hormones, we talk about reproductive hormones. This is a woman whose reproductive system is completely whacked out. Rebecca wrote a book on one of the main reasons why that occurs, which is called metabolic syndrome, which in turn is caused by digestive health issues. So I want to address this much more carefully on our on our Monday call. I will do that because it's a really important subject. And if you could send me that letter when you get a moment.
Absolutely.
But for now, focus. I guarantee. Is this person on the call?
She is, yes.
Okay. I guarantee. What's her name?
Kiana.
Kiana, I guarantee you, 100%, not 99.9, 100%, you got a digestive health issue, and you know it good and well. You know it good and well. Okay? It's not a minor one. It's a serious one. You got bloating, you got gas, you got constipation, whatever. Right back and confirm that for us right now. And then secondly, there's probably going to be some insulin resistance issues that involve things like obesity or weight gain, skin problems, menstrual problems, all of that. Interestingly, what you have, my dear, is generic. It's extremely common. And likewise, the Reversal protocol is generic and extremely common. And you could be just like this woman here that I'll send you a picture of for our next call. You can begin to reverse this condition today, and we'll help you out with more specifics on Monday. Right now, focus on your foods and reduce your sugar intake, and you can begin the process. But we'll talk about this more on Monday.
Okay, one thing, she is plant-based vegan.
It doesn't matter.
No
That's
processed
worse.
foods,
That's
low
worse.
carbs.
That's worse. Why is plant-based vegan worse than carnivore? And not that I'm pro carnivore, pro plant, or against plant-based vegan, but why is that worse for somebody who's got this kind of problem? Where is this person going to get her protein from? What do you think?
Right.
From where?
Legumes.
Legumes.
Soy.
Exactly. Exactly. Plant-based vegan for a person like this is a disaster. And I don't like killing Bambi. And I'm not a pro hunting and killing animals. I don't like it. But for a person like this, the entrance of food toxins through what you think is a vegan diet is horrific. How else is this person going to get protein if not from legumes? And you know, somebody just said legumes are a problem, ? I'm guilty of sometimes saying things that I assume everybody knows, and that's on me. Okay, and I take responsibility for that. Yes, legumes they're not always, but yes, they can be a disaster for people who present this way. And that's why food diary is so important, because we have these memes. You know the other name for a meme. What's the other name for a meme? A mind
Virus.
Virus. Yes, we have these memes that act virally. They don't care about us, like a virus doesn't care about us. A virus just wants to spread. And so we have these memes, these mind viruses in our culture that many of us believe, such as plant-based vegan is better, such as beans are a really good food. These are ideas that aren't accurate, and that's why food diary is so important. When somebody presents, and you've run into this, AJ, and everybody and Jevy's run into this, where somebody presents with these kinds of symptoms that are multiple. We have symptoms upon symptoms upon symptoms, and then they say, "But I eat really well," or they'll say, "Oh, but I only eat organic," or "But I only eat the good foods. I don't eat the bad foods," or "I'm gluten-free." But they present with a whole list of symptoms. That's why a food diary is so important, and not going by what you read on the internet or good food list, bad food list, or what the doctor told you, or some influencer told you, or some friend told you. Do a food diary. That gives you personalized information that is specific to you and your condition. And it's a little bit tricky, by the way, for people who are resistant to doing food diary. I get it. It is a little bit tricky, but it's so worth it.
Absolutely. And she did confirm, yes, bloating, eczema,
Oh,
and
really?
hernia.
Really?
And she was told that meat has carcinogens and makes grow.
We'll get to that on Monday. There's too much to unpack there. But I want everybody to understand, I'm Pharmacist Ben, not Psychic Ben. But I've seen this so many times because it's generic. Of course, I know she has digestive problems. She also has menstrual problems. And by the way, when you want to get pregnant, when you have this kind of complex of symptoms, it's like your body is telling you no. Your body's saying, no, we got enough problems here. The last thing we want to do is grow a baby. And this is why infertility is so common, is because while we may want a baby, the body is like, no baby here, no baby happening. And then you know what happens? This happened, just happened to a friend of mine, but it happens a lot. You go to the fertility doctor and guess what they give you? Fertility drugs to override the body saying, please don't put a baby in here. That we say, oh yeah, I'll show you who's boss. That's kind of what happens when we go to a doctor, to override our body's wisdom. So work on the digestive thing, long story short, digestive thing, metabolic, and we'll address this. This is an awesome question. Really, really good question. That'll be our topic on Monday, AJ, okay?
All right. Fantastic.
Okay. All right.
Now, if I can get everybody, all of my...
Ben, 9 o'clock?
9 a.m. or 9 p.m. I'm sorry.
9 p.m. and then, okay.
9 p.m. Eastern. Correct.
I got a text saying that you didn't tell people how to fix the disc.
You fix the disc by working on the gut. by working on metabolic syndrome, using your healthy bone and joint pack as a must, FucoidZ with collagen, which I don't believe is part of the healthy bone and joint pack. And then if you want to throw in a few other things, your ultimate MSM, and don't forget your CFX, because you cannot make connective tissue without vitamin C, no matter what else you're doing. And you could probably throw in collagen peptides into the mix as well.
All right. Thank you so much. If we did not get to your questions, please, questions@dailywithdoc.com. We will get those answers to you. I see, Michael, you had your hand up. Please, you know how to get a hold of me. Email me. And Joan says, tell Ben I love his enthusiasm.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And we will actually address some of her additional questions on the next show as well. So, folks, thank you so much for joining us here on Daily with Doc and Becca. My name is Becca Dukes. As a certified naturopathic practitioner and holistic health coach, it is my honor and privilege to bring this information that, like Ben says, empowering to each and every one of us. We just have to accept that power and put things into action. Pharmacist Ben,
thank you.
Thank you so
Bye, everybody.
very much.
See you Monday.
Staying overtime with us.
Bye,
We'll
everybody.
see you Monday. And I just want to do a shout out to my co-hosts, as we have Marilyn here with us. If you're here live with us and you have that chat open, you can see how busy she has been putting information into black and white right there in the text chat for you. You can take pictures of it with your camera and share it with others whenever it comes to what is being spoken. I just want to say thank you also to Phyllis, as she's doing some teamwork there in the chat, also bringing in questions off the different platforms. Thank you, Phyllis. And Mary bringing in questions as well off of YouTube and here in the Zoom itself. Thank you so much, Mary. And Albert, without power, he's still here helping people get into the room. Thank you so much, Albert, as he is joining us from South Africa, where it is after 11 p.m. Thank you, thank you. And AJ, who has been very instrumental, and today he and we're the tech crew, making sure that the program is out onto the different platforms. Everything has sound running smoothly. Thank you, AJ, as he has a concern on his face, makes me wonder. Folks, if we did not get to your questions, again, questions@dailywithdoc.com. And we did, if you're not working with anybody and you want to speak with a certified holistic health coach, 855-949-3377. This is mostly for those who have never tried any of the YGY products and they were not referred to this program by somebody specific. That is very important, as we want to maintain the integrity of our community, because we are a resource for an amazing community. Chances are the person that referred this program to you is also part of that program and that community. So if you're not part of a community and you want to become part of a community that is helping others become empowered, no matter where you're at, make sure that you get back with the person that shared this program with you and say, how can I be part of the community? And if there's no one to thank, 855-949-3377 or email us questions@dailywithdoc.com. And don't forget to tune in live.dailywithdoc.com on Monday. Go there now, subscribe to the channel so that you get a notification when we go live, especially for our Pharmacist Ben Bites with Pharmacist Ben Fuchs and Coach AJ. Folks, thank you again for joining us. We will see you next time. Oh, wait, AJ has his hand up. Go ahead, AJ. I'm sorry.
No worries.
You always have your hand up.
Well, a couple things. Just one, just another, you said it earlier, but if you want to be in the Zoom room going forward, you need to email zoom@dailywithdoc.com so that we have your email and we can invite you to be a part of the show in the Zoom.
And include your name, please.
Include your name,
Your
yeah.
real name.
Name is important. Secondarily, our buddy Bruce is asking us, what are some healthy food choices that we can have for Super Bowl Sunday? And the only one I could think of is popcorn that's air popped with a lot of butter and sea salt or Himalayan salt. I mean, that should be tasty, but maybe the rest of you have ideas on a healthy snack that you can have for Super Bowl Sunday.
Okay, there's a lot of things that you can do that are healthy for Super Bowl Sunday, folks. You can take some smoked salmon, mix it into cream cheese, really good. Soften the cream cheese first. Have that as a dip on your favorite gluten-free crackers. Another one, get your gluten-free crackers. You can put some sardines on there, put some capers on there. Really good. And if you like anchovies, you can do the same with anchovies. Another one, actually.
Okay, so clearly you've never been to a Super Bowl party, because that is cocktail hour, what you're describing there. Like,
come on, now let's upgrade our football parties. Come on, people.
okay.
You're worth it. Invest in your
Okay.
own health and make sure that you have those healthy snacks, because it could make or break tomorrow. For sure.
Anyone else who we have any from Phyllis or Mary or Marilyn? And Albert probably has never seen the Super Bowl.
You can always do
Well-
baked wings.
Baked wings.
Baked wings.
Yeah, bake your wings.
Okay.
Just don't put oil on them. Put ghee or butter, and you can bake them in the oven. Simple as that.
There
and
you
have
go.
some celery, and you can make a
Celery.
well, if you want celery with ranch that you can make without the bad ingredients, then you can have wings, chicken wings, celery, and ranch.
Wings and celery. Mhm.
Well, if I
Okay.
can say something, you guys are missing the best food of all. And in South Africa, we would be having something called biltong, which is dried beef, the South African way.
Dried beef. Sounds like jerky for me. I love it. As long as it doesn't have pepper on it. No black pepper. That just ruins it. And Nancy said, I thought corn was now on the do not eat list. Well, corn, Nancy, which a lot of people, there's a lot of tortilla chips out there. You can get it non-GMO, not a genetic modified organism. And corn itself is gluten-free. So within modification or moderation, corn chips can be used. We were talking about legumes earlier. You can make a great tasty bean dip using legumes, grinding them or mixing them, mashing them all up, putting some seasoning and spice in there. If I had somebody here, I would bring him on because he's amazing at this type of stuff. Yeah. And AJ, did you have something you wanted to add?
No, Becca, I'm just taking it all in. I'm surprised Phyllis doesn't have, or Marilyn doesn't have a suggestion for us. I'm really surprised. But
I'll tell you what, I'd be happy with the popcorn.
for
'Cause I
5
love
hours, just popcorning it up. That's what we want to do.
Oh, but enzymes, folks, you want to make sure that you're taking your ultimate enzymes for Super Bowl Sunday, no matter what you're eating. Because usually when we have something in front of us, it just keeps going in and in and in. And those ultimate enzymes will help the body break it down so you don't get that bloating and feeling little extra support always is nice. So, and Nancy S is saying fresh beans has less concentrated natural toxins. So that's a great one. Beef sausage, Nancy C is saying meatballs. Doc says a hamburger a day keeps the doctor away. No, that's 12 eggs a day keeps the doctor away, Nancy. Well,
Yeah.
folks, we are over time. Thank you so much for joining us here on Daily with Doc and Becca. My name is Becca Dukes. Again, get back with the person that shared this program with you. If there is no one to thank, give us a call at 855-949-3377. And if you have questions, you can always email us and we'll use those on our upcoming shows. questions@dailywithdoc.com. Until next time, bye for now.
Bye,
Thanks,
everybody.
everybody.
This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We're honored to continue and share the teachings of the founding father of science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We're honored to continue and share the teachings of the founding father of science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach.